Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, aka The Limey, and on this one, it's mail time. This has literally just been dropped on my doorstep, so I thought I'd crack it open and you guys might be a little bit interested on what's inside. Wish me luck. That's right, it's the DJI OM5. So what is the DJI OM5? And the simple answer is it's a gimbal, it's a selfie stick, and it's a tripod for your smartphone. So I already have the camera that we're using, and that is set up right there, and that lives on a SmartPod. I have the GoPro 8, so again 4K camera, 4K camera. The GoPro is great, it goes everywhere and anywhere you want. It's always attached to this small rig clip, and that means I can pretty much fasten it anywhere I need, but I don't use this as an action cam. I have a standard mobile phone selfie stick, but I sometimes use, probably more than anything, when I'm trying to do something with the kids. It's got a tripod built into it, and that's the sort of thing I'll use when I'm doing something quick, simple and dirty. Mine's up the gutter, folks. Quick, simple and easy, trying to use a smartphone. And then I've got the Manfrotto full gimbal that the camera that you guys are being recorded on would normally be attached to, and that gives me the opportunity to use the gimbal for that. Again, not been a massive fan. This thing's probably collected more dust than hours being used with the camera. So I've got two 4K cameras, but I've also got a third camera that I never ever use, and that's the one on the back of my S21 Ultra. So with TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and general things like that being a little bit more prevalent at the moment, I wanted something so I could utilize this in a small form. So let me crack this open. Let's see what's actually inside the box. So what is inside the box? So inside the box is everything you're going to need. Master every shot instructions. I will read them in 1 second, and the gimbal or the selfie stick itself. So I can call it a selfie stick because it has a telescopic arm and you can take selfies with it. So one thing I quite like is it comes with a tripod attachment, so let's pop that on the bottom. It also means that if it's in selfie stick mode, you've got a little bit more to use for arm length, and of course when you want to film yourself, it's nice and stable and secure. Let me turn this on, work out how it works, and I'll connect my smartphone to it and we'll go from there. So to connect your smartphone to the gimbal, you need to download the app. It comes with a QR code, scan it with your camera and install it. So we've got our gimbal, we've got the tripod extension already connected. Now the next thing to do is just to connect your mobile phone. Now I'm going to be 100% honest, I've just spent almost an hour trying to connect my phone. I've even had to turn my smartwatch off. I've turned everything off around me that's potentially Bluetooth because it just wouldn't connect. I downloaded the DJI Mimo app from the Play Store, would not connect at all. I reached out to DJI support, a fantastic person called Jan, helped me out, sent me a link to the most updated app, and it connected straight away. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a bit of a desk view, I guess, and I'll show you how this works. So one thing that I think is super cool is the way that you connect your smartphone to the DJI OM5. And I'm sure this is the same from DJI 4. This is my first DJI product I've ever purchased. So it's a Magnum. It's a little grippy, springy magnet, which is really simple to do. With the cheap selfie stick that I've got, I'm going to try and get something as big as a Galaxy S21 Ultra. It stretches, but it really is such a pain to get it in, and then it really sits in a really low spot, so it feels really top heavy to do it that way, okay? So not a massive fan of how that works, and normally I end up finding that you're turning the phone on and off while you're doing it at the same time. So I think this is quite a nice, neat solution. Stretch it over. You can position it so it's right under that power button. There we go. And you just simply connect it like that. Job's good. We'll turn it on. So on the gimbal, you've got your trigger button, you've got the M button, which is also the power button, so that's your mode button. You've got your zoom in, zoom out, your traditional thumbstick, up, down, left, right, round and round and round we go. The record button and the recycle your content button. I'm not 100% sure what that one does, but I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. Right, so to turn it on, press and hold your power button. I do like it when it dances. Let's unlock my phone. Let's just launch the DJI app again. And we should be all good. Now, there we go. Let's connect back to that. New firmware available. Tap to update. All right, here we go. Boom. I think we all feel like that, don't we? On a standard day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stick you back on my desk while that just updates, and then hopefully it'll do a dance when it's ready. So there we are into the brand new DJI Mimo app. Now this has some great features. It's got some editing built in. It's got your glamour, your soft focus and things like that. So let's go and turn on the camera. And there we have it, okay? So it works quite nice as a gimbal. I'm going to fold down the feet. Let's use this as a gimbal. So like I said, you've got your up, down, you've got your side to side. There we go. Hi, it's me. So I'm gonna hit the record button and hopefully, fingers crossed, we're recording. There we go. Okay, so here we are on gimbal cam. So there's, I guess, a few things that we need to figure out. One is how to work the trigger. There we go. One of them, which I quite like, is the follow function. So obviously you are getting a bit of a smart gimbal here. So it's not just a selfie stick. You're getting features built in. Let me just stand you up. Oh, there we go. Spin you a little bit that way. There we go. I'm going to center myself. If I draw over my face, it now puts me into smart track mode. So there's my hands. You can see I'm not doing anything. So this is really good, I think, if you're a bit further away. I'm going to be careful because there is a dog behind me and you want to do things to camera. So if you're working, so when I'm down in the garage doing things for things I've learned on YouTube, we can give it a go. Oh, let's get my core exercises in for the day. So So I do quite like that function that we've got the dynamic follow. So will it follow me if I stand up? Oh, how far will it go? And if I bend down, yeah, it will follow me. Oh, right. So there we have the dynamic sway function. Now, obviously I didn't buy this for being able to follow me. As I said at the start of the video, with YouTube Shorts, with TikToks and things like that becoming more and more popular, this is really something that I bought this for. So moving on from the gesture control that I did where I drew on the screen, I outlined my head so it follows it. Obviously you can do that with anything. As long as it recognizes it, it will follow it as long as you pan the camera around. There is something that we can do with gesture mode. So I believe it's if you put 2 fingers up, I get a 3-second counter, and then it also starts to track me. So again, this is that wonderful, you know, if you want to do TikToks, things like that, you haven't got the finger pressing the button right at the start. I'll turn it off. I'm gonna turn it ever so slightly so that you guys can see the screen. So now I'm in tracking mode. It can see me over here, you guys can see me over there, and it will track everywhere that I go. So wherever it can see my face, if I go behind the camera, it might be easier, there we go. So it will track everywhere it can see my face, which is a very cool thing. So that way, if I want to do things where I'm moving around a little bit, it knows exactly where I am. So as I mentioned, this camera that I'm using right now shoots in 4K. The GoPro I use shoots in 4K. My Samsung actually shoots in 8K, but through the DJI app, I can use it at 4K at 30 frames a second. So on the back camera, at the top here, I've got, on the back camera, hello, back camera please. So on the back camera at the top, I've got an option to pop it into 4K at 30 frames a second. So that means if I'm filming anyone using the gimbal, let's fold her in. So if I'm filming anything using the gimbal, I'm getting in crystal clear 4K at 30 frames a second, which I don't think is that bad for a mobile phone. So as ever with these things, there's a bunch of hidden features. So the recycle content button I was talking about earlier, if we press that, it changes from the front camera to the back camera. And if I double tap it, it should spin it into landscape mode, okay? And again, double tap to get yourself back to portrait mode. So this is quite easy and intuitive to use. Now, built into the Mimo app itself is quite a few actual camera tricks and camera things that will be probably, hopefully, very, very useful. So one of them is hyperlapse. There's a time lapse. Now, my wife is an artist, so I can imagine setting this up behind her, hitting it into time lapse and doing, you know, a nice time-lapse video of her painting would work out really, really well. There's the Dynazoom function, which, you know, it's where you sort of walk into the camera and the camera zooms in and out, which is really cool. Bog standard video, you do photo mode, which again, there's the M button on the side. If you press that once, it changes from photo to video, video to photo. There's the panorama picture. Now this will let you do a grid. So I think it's it's a 3x3 wide grid, which is quite cool. And the last thing is story mode. So story mode is exactly that. It's designed for, I guess, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, for TikToks, for things like that. And it's got built-in templates and tutorials on how to do it. So if I quickly flick back to the story mode, turn it up, there's all of the, I'm just gonna turn my sound down, I don't want the noise. there's all of the different styles. So there was one there, back to the 80s. If you hit your start button, it actually gives you the tutorial in the top corner. Can I take over? Tutorial, here we go. So it gives you the tutorial how to create the video by using the Mimo app. Okay, so we will figure this one out at some point. Now, one thing I want to try it for is the stabilization and how good it is. So I think what I'm going to do is throw some shoes on, jump on a scooter, and I'm going to go for a little spin with it and see what it's like. We'll be right back. Right, guys. So here we go. Trying this in tracking mode. We're doing some skating. Whoosh. Wow. I'm out of frame. There we go. Now, surprisingly, the hardest thing about this isn't the filming. It's not hitting the car. Let's go. So it's going a bit slow this time. There we go. So it does drift a little bit. It does pick me up, it does find me. Whew. It's time to walk, I think. I'm a bit low in shot. I think that's pretty bit better. There's gonna be some background noise. Now let's see how it does on the stabilization. Let's see how it does all over on a bit of an action shot, because really it's probably one of the things you're going to be using DJI products for, getting some action shots. Tell you what, my arm aches, I'm going to change arms. There we go. Now with the tripod extension on this, it just means it's a little bit longer, so you don't have such ease of access to the different things, such as the thumbstick, the start and the stop, or anything else. Whew. Be really interested to see how this comes out. See if I can do the rest of it on the scooter for the way home as we're a bit flatter. Oh, what if I can scoot left-handed? There we go. A little bit of lunchtime exercise. There we go. Woo. Right, guys. I'm gonna go have a cold drink and I'll lie down and I'll see you back in the office. Oh! My gosh, just went out for a bit more scooting and I am absolutely sweaty. So, what are my final thoughts on the DJI OM5? And you know what, honestly, I've had a quick look at some of the footage that I did on the mobile phone with the gimbal while scooting around the neighborhood, and you know what? It's really, really clear. I'm shooting on the front camera so I can see myself. So it's not in the full 4K, 30 frames a second, it's in the 1080p. And you know what? it's super clear, it's super stable. There was a little whoop that happened at one point. But you know what? That's kind of expected, I think, with gimbals and things like that. This is really cool, the little snap on, snap off. And from what I understand is you can actually upgrade this to one that's got little LED lights down the side. So if you are vlogging a lot and you want a bit more light on your face, you can definitely do that with some little LEDs. It's got the cool little camera icon right here, so you know exactly which way it's supposed to go. And that magnet, I mean, that's a solid magnet, and when you get it in the right spot, it's not coming off. I'm using an S21 Ultra, not a small, not a light phone, and you know what? I had no problems scooting down the road and knowing that it was safe and secure on that magnet. So was it the easiest setup? Honestly, no, it wasn't. I've had easier products that I've purchased that I've had to set up and had to use. The fact the new DJI Mimo app in the App Store isn't the most up-to-date was a little frustrating. It does tell you in the instructions to scan the QR code, download the app from the QR code. On my phone, it wasn't doing anything. It was downloading the APK file, but it wasn't giving me an option to install or download it. I ended up, like I said, speaking to support, took a few minutes. They gave me the right link off the DJI website, and I was able to install the right one. The fact it's got a little tripod, it has its pros and cons. If I'm being 100% honest, it gives you the extra length, and especially when you're in selfie stick mode, it gives you that extra little bit of length, but it does mean that you can't reach any of the controls and things like that. However, as you've just seen, I used it in tracking mode, so it was already set to track my face anyway, which made it really, really easy to use. And the fact I can stand it up wherever I want is actually really, really helpful and really useful. So, I mean, what would I give it? As a score out of 10? I'm not 100% sure. I think it's gonna be one of those use over the next few months and see how much use it gets, see if it becomes a key part of my arsenal. I don't know what I've done here. There we go. Let's pop that in there and then fold that around there like so. That closes. But where does this go? See, these are the things that I find frustrating. So now I've got this piece, I've got this piece, and I've got this piece. So if I want to go anywhere, I've got to remember I've got 3 pieces of kit. I mean, if I was going to use this religiously, I would just probably leave this on the end of on the back of my smartphone. But it's quite frustrating. It does kind of fit actually. It'll work there, won't it? It is a bit frustrating that they didn't really think about how it fits together with the bracket on. It has this weird, I guess it's got a little, oh! I didn't know it did that. I've just discovered something. Hang on, let's fold it out, fold it out. Hey, look. So that actually pivots, oh my gosh, all the way that way as well. I didn't know it did that. I just thought I broke it. Okay, let's fold it down. Fold it down all the way back together. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't fold down properly with that on. You've got to sort of stretch it behind. But you know what? It will. And it really is, like I said, it's quite a small footprint. That can go in one pocket. That goes in the backpack. Job done. Guys, my name's Nick, aka The Limey. This was a little bit of a different video with a bit of a tech review. I like it. I'm going to use it for any upcoming TikToks, any upcoming YouTube shorts. I'm probably going to do some filming for my wife in her gallery, probably for my father-in-law who's doing some painting. So it will get some use. Is it better than its £30 component? I don't know. And this has got a Bluetooth shutter button. It does the job. Problem with this is it's not quite so user-friendly. And when you walk with this, you do see that you're walking, even though we're using the image stabilizing in camera. So, I mean, is this one gonna get replaced? Probably if I'm just sat here and I wanna talk to my phone. It probably will be this one that I use because I haven't got to remember to charge it, okay? So, everything as ever, pros and cons. There's always a tool for every job, and this one might end up in the garage, in the workshop, so it gets used more in there. But guys, thank you so much. As I said, my name is Nick, aka The Limey. If you've enjoyed this, subscribe, like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. If you're getting one of these, let me know what you think. Thanks guys, take care.
Get it, comma and a comma, gotta get it, and it's a ticket talking my